Okay, this is Roslynn Eve, and I've never done a complaints video before. Now, even though we're looking at the Lorimer Art Gallery, I'm not saying that this gallery is any different or better or worse than any other gallery. I'm just looking at what our society is looking at as art these days, in general. I just happen to be looking at the Lorimer Gallery's page. And the first thing in terms of what is good and not as good, like what could be improved in images, one of the big things that I feel like so many images are lacking is, where is your main area of interest? If you're having 1, 3, or 5, which is your optimum main areas of interest, where is your main area of interest? I get very frustrated looking at so much art that does not have this. I don't know if you guys feel the same out there, but that's one of my big complaints. Okay, so let's look at this first image here on the left. Where's your main area of interest? Well, with the third rules, it should be lined up with this right here, this line there, or this line there, or this line there. Where's the main area of interest? There isn't. There's no strong main area of interest here. Okay, let's look at the next one. Same thing. Is there any main area of interest on those with the rule of thirds? Okay, those are the thirds. If you divide it in 9 equal portions, where would the lines be? And that's where the lines would be, generally speaking. And what important thing is on the main area of interest? What here is making a main area of interest? What is making you want to look at this image and go, gee, I want to stay looking at the image? You're just kind of wandering around lost in the image, and there's no particular area that you really want to look at and enjoy. Okay, next, on the right, where's the main area of interest? Too high. It should be on a third line. And what here is outstanding? What do you want to look at in this image? This white house, right? Because of contrast and everything, that's where you want to look. Both the lightest and the darkest point in the image. Okay? Lacks a good, strong main area of interest. What about this? This one, that's all sky and a little bit of water. Where's the main area of interest? What makes you want to look at this image? What's going to make you remember this image as being so exciting and exceptional? Is there strong lines? Is there strong colors? Is there strong textures? Is there strong details? Is there strong action? Is there, strong three-dimensional shadowing? What I'm saying is, to me, if you want your image to be really memorable, you need to put ingredients in there to make it memorable. Okay, so this middle one, where's the main area of interest? Well, you know what it's supposed to be is the boat. But the boat is so big, and there's no particular thing in the boat that makes it the point of interest, like a little dog or something here, So what is the main area of interest? It's supposed to be the boat. Okay, well, isn't the boat taking up too much space in this image to be a main area of interest? You've got almost a 50-50 situation here where you've got 50% light and 50% dark, and the color is not a large enough spot or area of mass. It's too spread out to be a strong main area of interest. So what's the main area of interest? Okay, so let's look at this next one here. What's the main area of interest? Okay, you've got a crow. Now, to be fair, maybe I should be opening all of these up so that we can see the whole image. There's the whole image. It is long, so there is maybe some missing stuff in the other ones. But where's the main area of interest? Well, this is on the third line. At least this one has a main area of interest. And it's got a sign. No parking, vehicles will be shredded and turned into beer cans. Okay, well, in terms of humor, yeah, this has got some humor there, so it's, creating a mood. But again, there's so much overwhelming space used in the image compared to, and when we talk about viewing windows, look at how big the viewing window is. Triangles are better than 4. There's 4 areas there. The 3, the cheesies, the bird, the no parking sign. And your image is divided in almost in half there because of the strong line going all the way through. And the rules are, don't have an unbroken line going all the way from one side of the image to the other. What do you learn in high school, Okay. So again, okay, let's go back. Okay, let's look again. What is the main area of interest? When I look at visual art, and this is visual art, this is not word art where you've got a story and you're writing down all this writing and you're trying to make the image make sense because you got this big written story. Well, write a book. What is the main area of interest? What makes this image that I'm just, with no history, 20 years from now, with nobody to explain to me what this thing looks like and why I should buy it, and I look at that and I go, okay, what's the main area of interest? What makes this so exceptional and memorable? And, does it have the full range of dark to light? Does it have texture? Does it have, contrast? Does it have... Well, it has shape, it has color, but how many ingredients are used in this to make it exciting? What's making one dress more exciting than the rest? Why do I want to look at this image? See, to me, there's the written story of a painting that people come up with the story, and then there's the actual visual image itself. Is the visual image itself good? Do I want to look at it just because I like the visual image? Okay, let's look at this one. Blue sky. Okay, it's got color. It's got grass. It's got a line going from one side of the image all the way to the other, and a little dot in the sky being the moon or whatever there, and... What's the main area of interest? Does it have a strong one? Is it memorable? Do I go, oh, gee, that's beautiful, I would like to live there? Or, is there some lines and, light and dark and, things that make it so exciting that I think, oh, wow, that's so memorable and that's so awesome? It doesn't have a strong main area of interest. It's not memorable. To me, art should be memorable. It should be strong. When I use my practical art analysis method, I'm looking at the visual thing that is in front of me, and I'm going, what makes this good? What could make it better? Let's do something practical here. Let's make an image an image. Okay, so let's look again. Okay, this boat here, what's the main area of interest? Well, you can see it's the boat. It's just this big boat. And when I look at this, do I get a feeling of why I want to look at this? It's right dead center. In photography, in the rule of thirds, that's the most boring place to put something, is right in the center. Okay, let's see if it is in the total picture, the center. Yep, it is. There you go. Okay, so why do I want to look at this? Without having a big story and everything, how the artists grew up and who they are and where they're going with their art and da-da-da-da-da. What is that makes this thing such a strong, wonderful image that I would want to hang that on my wall, or I would want to stare at that? Again, is there a textured area working in combination with a dark area, working in combination with, something that is an interesting shape and, has lines that are, creating some action feeling in it. And, okay, we've got not a strong main area of interest. Okay, so let's look at the middle one. What is the main area of interest? Well, we know what the artist wants it to be is the tree, because everything else lacks color, interest. Everything else is boring that's going on there until you look here where all the color is, where all the dark is. This is all neutral. It's not white. It doesn't go all the way to white. This goes to black or almost to black. So you've got the one extreme end of the range of light to dark. And you've got color. So you know that by the mass of this more neutral area, this is the center area here is where the artist wants you to look. But where's your eye really drawn? It's not to the third line area. And it does have, at least it's got some lines and stuff making up the tree to add some excitement and interest. And we've got the dark competing with that down here, low in the image. So does it have a strong main area of interest? No. Okay, let's look over here at this next one on the right. Where's the main area of interest? Is it this big black shape, this road in the middle there? Is it this white house that's way up too close to the edge that wants to pull your eye off the page? Where's the main area of interest? Look at the lines that they're not strong enough to get you to look in a particular area. Now, this artist does have color, and I have to admit that they've got some really exciting, wonderful colors, but there is nothing there that makes it exceptional because it doesn't have a strong main area of interest. Okay, let's look over here. This owl. What's the main area of interest? Well, at least they've got an eye that's on, or partially on the third line there. So I have to say, well, it does have that going for it. It does have really light. It does have some dark. So there are some ingredients here that they've surrounded the main area of interest with to make you want to look there. So bravo, at least they've got something that is heading towards a strong main area of interest. But the problem is the yellow in the eye is too evenly distributed throughout the painting, that color, so it tends to leave that color as considered more neutralized or more ignorable because it's too common. If there was a blue reflection somehow in it or something of, contrast to make that eye more, intriguing, then it would have a more strong area of interest. Okay, so let's look at this middle one. Where's the main area of interest? Well, in terms of the lightest to darkest category, you've got the darkest spot here, and the light areas and the middle shades of color, not too light or too dark, the blue there. So the least quantity of light to dark of the white and the black, this would be the closest to being the darkest spot, and the white is too much, so it's got to be that dark spot. What's so exciting about that dark spot that I want to look there for a long period of time that makes this image so wonderful, that has such a strong main area of interest? Just a visual image, standalone, no story, no nothing. What makes me want to look at that image? I don't know. Do you? Okay, let's look at this one here. All this color. Okay, there is, some brushstroke lines that, give it a little bit of activity, but we've got color. The two don't exactly go together. They're more contrasted than anything. And in terms of the third line, well, the whitest spot there is on the third line, and this is too close to the edge. So even though this is the lightest and most intense zone, this is not. So then you've got your main area of interest, your secondary area of interest. So where does your eye want to go? Up and down, up and down, up and down. Where is a third point to move you around the image? Where's the main area of interest and the other areas of interest to support that to be a main area of interest? I see such weak main areas of interest in art. It's just so frustrating to me. Okay, look here. Now we finally have an image out of all these images that, there you go, this is on the third line. It's getting almost down to the point where it would be on a cross point if it was a little bit lower. And it is the whitest and darkest spot, the lightest and darkest spot. So you got good contrast, you've got good warm to cool colors, you've got good texture, you know, showing up in the image. You've got some other little, you know, things to look at besides your main area of interest. Too bad they're all kind of just right in there, because again, you've got a weak viewing window. There's your viewing window, tiny little viewing window. You don't really want to look so much at the rest because there's no bird to pull you up in the sky. There's no boat to pull you over here, or a person standing or a dog sitting on the beach to move your eye around within the image. But it does have a much stronger main area of interest than a whole bunch of the other ones that we've been looking at. Okay, and it has more ingredients used from the 40 ingredient list to make your art exciting. It does have that, but holy smokes. Okay, let's look at this middle one here. And I'm not saying that this art gallery is picking any better or worse than any other art gallery. I don't think people know this. I don't think people know this. How come they don't know this? Am I a genius? Like, look. Okay, look at this one. Okay, so where's the main area of interest? Okay, we've got this here. It's going off the page, right? At least it doesn't go all the way off the other side too. But it is going off the page. So it would be better if this brownish color here would have been like brown in here to sort of contain that dark a bit more. So because in the light to dark, they don't have light in that range, in that ingredient. They don't have light, they don't have white, they don't have off-white. They do have dark. And because of all of this space here, all of that area is all in the mid-range. It's not light, it's not dark. It's in the middle. There's a little medium dark down here in the bottom. There's a little bit. But there's your point of interest. Okay, now what's pulling you around and making you want to look around in the image? Is there a bird? Is there a particular cloud formation? Is there a boat? Like, is there a rock over here? Like, you're just looking right there. That's it. Your eyes circling around. There's your tiny little window. Your tiny little viewing window is over here. Okay, they've got texture, so they have other ingredients going for the image. Yeah, that's good. They've got texture and stuff going on. They have picked some other ingredients out of the list. But does it have a strong main area of interest? It has one little area of interest. That's it. Okay. Let's look here. Is that strong and memorable in the middle one? No. Okay, so let's look at this one now over here on the right. Where's the main area of interest? Okay. Well, the white is the abundant part, so that leaves the black as the main area of interest because the orange is out along the edges and it's too close to the edge and it neutralizes it, that color as being a main area of interest. So now you've got black to work with. Okay, so where is the black? Touching the bottom edge. Could be better. It's not totally contained, but it's not a nightmare. But it could be better. And what else does the image have going for it? Well, it's got the complete range of light to dark, and it's got color. It's got lines, because there's a line. It's got shapes, because look at the shapes. It's got shadowing, some three-dimensional shadowing, not realistic shadowing, but shadowing. And so what makes me want to look at this image? It's centered. The main area of interest is too centered. And it's, just look at it like light and dark shapes. You've got this big line, you've got this broken up line with some dots, and you've got a triangle. Okay, so it's not strong, it's not The proportion of the weight of mass of dark is so strong in the bottom that it overwhelms everything else in the image. You know you're supposed to look here in this zone, in this triangular zone, but it's too big of a window of where we're supposed to look. Okay, so let's look down here. What pulls us here? What's the main area of interest? Well, at least this one has some lines that move your eyes around. It's got some dark here on the third line. It's got some nice intense colors to support up here to be the zone of main area of interest, but it's very top heavy because all of the exciting parts are up in the top. It would have been better if we had one move down a little bit, or, you know, 3 to move you around, or 3 main ones and 2 minor areas of interest. You've got all this going up here, makes this look unfinished and sort of empty down there. But at least they've got something down there with the lines and stuff. So I mean, there is a lot more excitement because of contrast. But the main area of interest, what is the strong one here out of these dark zones? Which is the one? Well, they're almost all equal size. What is supposed to draw us more to one zone than the rest of it? We have to have a strong main area of interest. Okay, look at this one. Well, we know where the artist wants you to look is here, centered again. The most boring spot to put your main area of interest. Okay, we've got dark, so if we look here at how much light to how much dark we have, well, we do have good range of light to dark. We do have texture to help us out. We do have lines. We do have busy space. We do have, you know, color, but we need to support our main area of interest to make it a good, strong image and more of a memorable image. So in this one, we do have mood. Look at the facial expression and everything. We do have light to dark showing up in that zone to make you want to look there. We do have color in the face. You know, we do have color and color, you know, next to it to try to support it as the main area of interest. We do have the dark spaces going around that zone to make you want to look there. So the only problem that I would say could be improved here would be this line on the side, because that's competing with where you want your viewer to look. Okay, so let's look over here at this one. Okay, does that have a main area of interest? No, because your main area of interest, being the proportion of light to dark, dark is the smallest. So there's your dark, too close to the edge. If you look at where the artist wants you to look, which there's the subject area, that zone is taking up too much space within the image, so it neutralizes it. We've got good strong dark in here, and none of it is on the third line. Okay. And color, well, you've got little bits of it evenly distributed, so that neutralizes the color aspect of it as well. So let's continue to the next one. Where's the good strong main area of interest here? Well, color is evenly distributed, so that leaves color out as a pointer to what's the main area of interest. Light and dark is pretty even quantities here, and is evenly distributed, so that leaves that out as a pointer to where the main area of interest is. And there isn't things like texture, there isn't things like the strongest you've got there, the most mass would be this white. And the white is the main area of interest, or ends up being the main area of interest, but it's not close enough to the third line, and it's not big enough to compete with all these other shapes, because we don't have enough ingredients there to make that and support that to be the main area of interest. And let's look at this one, the middle one. Where's the main area of interest? You've got all these lines of grass and stuff showing there. You've got the neutral light space of the window, and the neutral white and blue of the sky, because it's all light. So the darkest part is where you want to look. And what dark is, what part of the grass here is the twig of grass that I'm supposed to be looking at, that's the main area of interest. It's going to make me remember this view and go, oh wow, and remember this image and go, oh wow, I want that hanging on my wall. Okay, over here, this one. What's the main area of interest? The sunset. Okay, well, okay, we do have some more ingredients than some of the other ones. Like this one doesn't have very many ingredients in it. Okay, well, we do have more ingredients in this one, and we do have more things to look at that are more solid or have more mass to look at. So it makes it a bit stronger area of interest. We do have the dark, these two being more dominant than this one because this one isn't as dark. We do have some color. Unfortunately, the color is unbroken and goes all the way from side to side. But at least it's not so dominant that it screams at us and breaks up the whole image into two big pieces. And we do have some texture going on down in here, so they have added some other categories and ingredients to try to add some interest. But this is competing with this because this is the dominant size of dark area. So you're going to want to look at the largest mass of dark. And where are we going to want to look here? Why do we want to look here? What's so exciting and interesting and wonderful about looking down in this little bottom corner that isn't on the third lines and, isn't great, isn't, memorable, isn't, gee, I want to stare at that zone, And I'm not trying to pick on any of these artists in particular because, I'm sure their work sells and that they're considered really good artists and stuff. But all I'm saying is I think that the school systems are lacking in not putting this information out there so that all these artists and in all these galleries and all these buyers can have better images and all these artists can create better images so that so the standard of art can go up. And I'm going, I don't know, maybe I'm an art genius and I figured all this out and nobody else has. I don't know, but I just, I go, this doesn't make sense. Either you are a writer and that's what you do, or you are a visual artist and that's what you do. And I don't think that, like somebody, I seen somewhere a glass of water on a shelf and they said this is a tree, and then there's this big blah 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 about this being a tree, and I'm like, God, that's not a tree, and I'm not going to buy a glass of water with a seed on a shelf and stick it on my wall and call it art. I think my whole neighborhood would think that I'm retarded or something. It's what you're seeing. Like, to me, visual art, it is what you're seeing. And written art is what you're writing and the story of. And, that doesn't mean that you can't have visual art in your book to try to enhance your story. But, and I can see to some extent, saying, well, this is what the title of the art piece is. But when it starts to become more about the written part and less about the visual part, then I don't think that's visual art anymore. So I'm going to end my little rant here at this point. And again, I'm not saying that this art won't sell, and that it's not considered good art. But I'm just saying, I think that art can be better than this. That's all I'm saying. Okay? And that's my opinion. And that's why I do practical art analysis. And if you're interested in practical art analysis, then this is my link. And there it is. And you can see that it's on my Facebook page. This is my Facebook page. And I do have my price list there to do practical art analysis on an image. Or 7. Or however many that you want. Okay, well, thank you, and thanks for listening and being patient with my little rant here. And I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you. Bye for now.